Hi guys, it's Chris at Cork and Crown, back in my cider shed with some more cider to try. But it's not cider, it's perry. Well, we have got some cider as well. I'll explain, but let me start with the perry. So we've got a pallet delivery today from Herefordshire. And on that pallet was some stuff from Martin Harris at Butford Organic. Got some more brown snout, got some more Dabinet, got some more Aurora Perry, got some apple juice off him, organic apple juice. Wonderful. But he'd also been very kind and let Jeremy Harris, no relation, drop off some stuff. So Jeremy Harris is Cwm Maddoc, Hollow Ash Orchards, Cwm Maddoc. So Jeremy dropped some stuff off there to go on the pallet. So that came as well. So we've got some stuff from Cwm Maddoc as well. So we've got some Betty Prosser to try. We've got some gin pear to try. We've got some Thorn pear to try, perry to try. And we've got some foxwhelp to try. We're not going to do them all tonight. We're going to start with the Thorn. And the reason we're going to start with the Thorn is one bottle fell off the pallet, popped open, and I lost some. And I want to try it before. I mean, it's going to have lost some carbonation, unfortunately. But I want to try it before it goes totally flat. So we're going to start with the Thorn. There it is, Thorn. But something else that happened today, a guy called Andrew Green, who works for the Newt in Somerset, came down to my lockup. We tried some stuff. Some good stuff as well. The thing that knocked my socks off the most, which was not what I was expecting at all, it was an afterthought, was some gin that they'd made. And they'd made two. One was with Red Love, I believe was the apple varietal, which is like, it's got like a pink flesh. They used it to make their rosé cider. And one that was made from Jonagold, which is like a dessert apple blend of Jonathan and Golden Delicious, I believe. So one's slightly sweeter, one's slightly sharper, so they blend it together to get something rounded. And I really liked that. I got a case of it. I also got some of their Winston, their champagne method. I've ordered that. That's coming tomorrow. I think I've also got a couple of other things. One of which is this one, which I haven't had from them before. Previously, I've done tastings of their stuff, filmed it, done films, and it was for the, I think it was the Kingston Black and the Yellington Mill. Could have been the Dabinet. I can't remember. But anyway, this is a blended one that they do called Signature Blend Cider, medium dry, and they spell cider with a Y, as you can see, rather than an I. And this one, fine cider. So basically still, it looks like a bottle of Riesling, doesn't it? It's in a tall, skinny bottle. Makes you think Alsace or Germany or something like that. I do like that style of thing. And we'll quickly taste these at the end. And he opened these and let me have the samples, but because they're already opened, you know, I wanted to try them again, same sort of thing. They're going to go flat. So I'll give them a quick, but the focus is going to be the Thorn. But I thought I'd throw those two things at the end anyway. So let's start. It's already 3 minutes gone. I haven't opened anything yet. Well, I have opened it, but not on purpose. Right. Let's have a look at the bottle first, though. It's 4.5%, low ABV, medium sweet, single variety perry 2020, a very old variety, brackets 1676, with a light, crisp and citrusy flavour. So I think it was used as a dual purpose, actually, pair this. But I think it's good for cooking. High acid's good for cooking because it breaks down cooking apples. The acidity in cooking apples is what makes them go soft when you cook them, which is why they're used for cooking. That's the whole point of them. And also quite high acid. So it's also low tan in this. And we've had a few Thorns. Certainly had some from Jeremy. We've had some from James Marsden, Greg's Pit. And the thing that seems to connect Thorn to me is it's one of the more acid perry varietals that I've had. It's almost like, well, from all the ones I've had so far, is Frederick pear or apple? I always forget if Frederick is a pear or an apple. I'll put it on the screen. If it's a pear, then it's quite acid as well. But the Thorn is almost like, well, not the foxwhelp of the perry world, but, you know, in my head, it's kind of up there because it's quite an acid varietal. Oh, got some foxwhelp to try from Jeremy, so that's going to be interesting as well, single variety. Anyway, blah, blah. So I expect it to be boldly acid, but it says medium sweet. He racks off, he cold racks to get out nutrients, to get out yeast, to preserve sugar, but also this may have a hit of sorbitol in, which is going to keep it sweet as well. Anyway, I don't know. So open it. No pop and no gas, because the pop and the gas happened on the floor of my lockup. I have to clean up lots of sticky perry. Right, let's pour it into this glass. See what we've got. I love getting stuff from Jeremy. Very exciting. Quite a lot of Betty Prosser. Me loves his Betty Prosser previously, so I'm very excited to try that as well. I probably would have started with that if this hadn't taken a tumble and opened itself on the floor. So there's the colour. Where's my thingamajig? Come here, thingamajig. There you go. Some quite light in colour. Very, very, very pale gold with a hint of lime green, I want to say. Slight haze as well. Let's smell it. Has it got any bubbles left? Tiny prickle in there. What a shame, what a shame. Alright. So I think like almost like a grapefruit elderflower sort of characteristic is how people often describe Thorn. I would say on the nose it's actually quite floral. Elderflower? Possibly elderflower. Almost like a I think key lime pie kind of smell as well. So it's sort of lime, but it's not really, really aggressive lime. It's quite gentle. Yeah. Maybe a hint of pithiness or something. Soft. It's actually key lime pie. It's got like almost a soft creaminess to it on the nose. Yeah. Let's try it. Still has the bubbles. Yeah. And it does have a bit of sweetness actually. Not loads, but quite pleasant. And there's that minerality. There is that kind of lemon, lime, citrus character coming through. Grapefruit actually I want to say as well. Grapefruit, absolutely. And slightly more bitter, peaty characteristic you get from grapefruit. Getting that off this. But brilliantly balanced. Brilliantly balanced with that sweetness. I assume, I don't know if that's sorbitol or residual sugars, because he's cold racked, or a combination thereof. Not sure. But great balance of sweetness and sour on that. It's absolutely fantastic. 4.5. This is great. Yeah. Yeah. Me like a lot. Hints of minerality as well. So you get that sweetness, then you start to get that minerality, that mouth-watering citric element kicking in. Yeah, grapefruit lime is kind of what I want to say. Not so much lemon. It's absolutely fab. It's a brilliant balance, that. I absolutely love it. It's so nice. Ideally, you'd think it'd be a hot weather drink, but it's so deliciously balanced between the sweetness and the acidity that it's fab. I want it. And there is a pear character in there. In the background, there's just a hint of like rich, sort of poached pear, I want to say. But it's mixed in with all the other flavours. It's not obvious because you've got the sweetness and you've got the sourness and you've got the pear in the middle. Super, 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 super. I might have to get another one for myself that hasn't been accidentally opened and just drink it for fun with the full carbonation. Meat loves that. Yeah, on the nose. Key lime pie. That's what I want to say. Great. Nice, nice, nice. Thank you, Jeremy. Excellent. I look forward to trying the others. Right. Okay. I'm going to have to neck that now, aren't I? Oh. There are some bubbles in it, I have to say. But it has lost a little bit of carbonation. That is delicious. I want to go back again and again. So I think this is the driest of these two. So I'm going to quickly try these. I'm not going to give them as much attention, unfortunately, because I simply haven't got. I don't want to make a super long film. And yeah, it is what it is. So let's try this first. So this is very much, basically, what Andrew said was kind of, it's more like a wine. To me, my comment was, well, it is a wine. It's made from pressed fruit, so it is a wine. And he was like, well, yeah, it is. You know, I think he's just not used to people saying that to him because people just don't think of cider as being a wine, but it is a wine. It absolutely is. So these guys are in Somerset. It's the Newt. Got a state-of-the-art cidery. I mean, basically, it looks bloody beautiful. I'd like to visit. But they have some oak, which they use for some things, not for this, and not for this. Although this is a blend, so maybe some of the blend is being in oak, but I don't think so. I think the Dabinet had been in oak. I think. I can't remember exactly. We tried a few different things. It was 11 o'clock in the morning. I was drinking gin, for God's sake. So yeah. So this is still, they use wine yeasts. Don't want to use wild yeasts because they don't trust that they're going to go where they want them to go in terms of the flavour profile, and they want to be in total control. Personally, I don't mind wild yeasts. In fact, everything I sell is wild yeast, with the exception of, well, it's going to be some of their stuff which I'm getting, and Phil Turner, but he's using dessert fruit entirely, or culinary and dessert fruit, and he wants the expression of the fruit to come through. So using a champagne yeast to accentuate that. These guys though, they just want to have total control of the process, which I totally get. And if you're making quite a lot of stuff, you want it to come out how you want it. If you see what I mean, you want to control the process and get the flavour profile that you want at the end of the day. Sometimes, though, if you play it safe, I think you miss out on some of the highs you can get. I mean, for me, it's like talking about pasteurised versus unpasteurised cheese. I've had some terrible unpasteurised cheeses. I've had some great pasteurised cheeses. But I think there's more potential always in unpasteurised cheese if you could extract it. And I feel similarly about cider and wild yeast. Yeah, okay. But I don't have an issue with people using, wine yeast. For me, I just think the highs are higher if you take that leap of faith. But, if you're making a lot of stuff, it is a big leap of faith, because you might end up with a load of stuff you cannot sell. And that is a bad state of affairs. So really pale in colour. Is there anything written on here other than fine cider? It contains sulfites. No, nothing. 8% ABV. I can't remember what the varietals were. I can't remember. I didn't retain. There was a lot of information discussed and I didn't retain a lot of it, unfortunately. But to me, this smells like, and I remember this from earlier. I mean, if you gave me a blind, I'd be like, I think that's a wine. I think that's a wine. But it's an apple wine is what it is, On the nose, it smells like a wine. And they are using wine yeast. I can't remember. I thought, when I first smelt it, I thought it smelled like it had a hint of oak about it. It doesn't, but now it smells less like that. But it still smells to me on the nose. It's got a sort of like hint of like slightly oaked, buttery sort of diacetyl sort of Chardonnay about it on the nose. But then there's an austerity to it as well. It makes me go more towards like, I don't know, a dry Riesling or a Sauvignon Blanc, possibly Sauvignon Blanc, like New World Sauvignon Blanc. Yeah, but blind, I'd be like, well, still wine. Let's try it. So quite a rich texture, but it is 8%. On the palate, boom. It's bone dry. There is a creaminess to it, a richness to it. There's also a kind of a, like a gooseberry character, I want to say, to it as well. And slight pithiness as well about it. It feels to me still on the palate, even though there's hints of apple about it, it makes me think like something like a Pic Boule de Pinet from France, which also come in the tall skinny bottles, bone dry, white, traditionally you'd have them with like oysters and stuff like that, or muscadet, another kind. That is absolutely the ballpark that this is in for me. And I'd be very confused blind as to what it was, because my brain wants to go to Pic Boule de Pinet, wants to go to muscadet. It doesn't want to go to cider at all, which confuses me a bit, because do I want my cider to taste like cider? And I'm not sure what this retails at, but it's probably quite a lot. But yeah, don't know. Certainly, it's not like a Riesling. It's much more like one of those sort of very dry, austere, coastal white wines of France. Poured that out, didn't I? I'm gonna have to neck this in one. Right, last one. Signature blend cider. Contains sulfites, 20-26%. That's it. If I can find some more information, I'll put it on the screen. I'm sorry to be rushing through this, but up to 13-14 minutes, which is too long for one of these films, quite frankly. I wouldn't want to listen to me talk for that long. So I don't see why you would. So obviously it's got more colour. It's because it's made from cider apples. Let's pour it out. So force carbonated. Again, wine yeast. Colour. It's got a little bit of amber to it. It's quite light in colour, but it's got some amber to it, Yeah, they're not watering back or anything like that. So that is the actual colour. Quite delicate, but there's like a quality of very ripe, overripe fruit. Not necessarily apples about it on the nose when I first put my nose in. And then you get like a toffee apple sort of thing going on. You absolutely do. It's quite delicate, but like toffee / caramel, toffee apple is where I want to go with it, basically. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Let's taste it. some astringency, a little bit of tannin. Maybe the merest hint of hard tannin on the back. Or maybe just the suggestion. It's pretty dry. Is it bone dry? I think it might be bone dry. Oh, hang on. There's some blurb, which I missed. Here it is. Our signature blend is crafted from a careful selection of Somerset bittersweet cider apples harvested from our estate and local orchards. The cider's amber hue, apple aromatics and full-bodied mouthfeel come from rich apple tannins. An authentic blend true to the tradition and heritage of Somerset cider. Except I feel like it's a little bit cleaner. It's a bit more austere. Feels a bit more acid-driven. Not in the way that the Thorn was that we had just now, or even the fine cider. There's an acidity to it. I just feel it doesn't have that. What's the word? What's the word I'm searching for? It doesn't have that slightly darker note. It doesn't have that sweated apple, deeper character that I so much like about ciders made from bittersweet, proper cider apples. It's just a little bit. I don't want to use the word clean because that suggests that the ones are like unclean, and that's not what I mean at all. It just feels a little bit. I don't know. It's a little simple. That's how I feel about it. It's a nice cider, but I just feel like it's like cider light is what it feels like to me. Yeah. So I just feel maybe that's coming from trying to control the process so much that you basically end up something which is a little bit, you come up. We're not the lowest common, a lower common denominator. So it's a little more simple, a little less characterful, which this is, despite being a really tasty cider. I don't know. It just doesn't. It's not quite got as much of a kick as I would like it to have, given its heritage, if you like. So there you go. 2 from the Newt. Their what's it called again? I can't remember. Signature blend and their fine cider. And the star of the show for me, despite the fact that it's almost gone flat, is this Perry Thorn from Cwm Maddoc. Absolutely banging. It's really good. The balance of sweetness and acidity and fruit character is absolutely flipping great. And if you're lucky enough to get some, enjoy. Alright guys, thank you for joining me in my shed for the full 15, 16, 17 minutes, whatever the hell it is. I hope you join me again, but until that time, cheers.